And the thing that disturbs you is only the sound of the low spark of high heel boys. Hold on a second. The low spark of high heel boys. The low spark of high heel boys. The low spark of high heeled boys. The low spark of high heeled boys. High heel boys. What does that mean? One of my favorite songs of all time is The Low Spark of High Heel Boys by Traffic. And I'm gonna be honest, I have absolutely no idea what that means. Neither did my mom, who introduced me to this album and song. And it's kind of been this little like mystery ever since. Like, what does this song mean? What is The Low Spark of High Heel Boys? That feels like a nonsense sentence, but it also feels like it has a lot of meaning to it. The low spark of high heel boys. The low spark of high heel boys. The low spark of high heel boys. And it like rolls off the tongue really well. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna figure out what the low spark of high heel boys is. High heel boys. So obviously we could have just like Googled this a long time ago and had our answer, right? But where's the fun in that? No, I wanna figure out what this means organically. The low spark of high heel boys. You know, one of my weaknesses as a musician is like lyrics and poetry and whatnot. I'm usually like very direct with what I have to say. And it's stuff like the low spark of high heel boys that makes me go, I could never sing something so dumb. I could never come up with such passionate nonsense lyrics, you know? The low spark of high heel boys. Okay, so let's start with the part we can actually understand, right? The high heel boys. All right, so boys typically don't wear high heels. It's like a transgressive type behavior that we're referencing here. And the use of the word boys as opposed to men implies something. And if you're thinking about the end of like a musical phrase, men is kind of a hard end, but boys kind of like leads you into this like, it sounds kind of sweeping and jazzy. Okay, so the low spark of high heel boys. We got high heel boys. It's transgressive. Something that we're doing here, whatever the low spark of high heel boys is, it's transgressive against society. Okay, so now we have to figure out the low spark. This is a thing of the high heel boys, right? This is a thing that they possess, apparently. The low spark. Low spark. The low spark. Now these are transgressive people performing like a low spark action. What does that tell us? It's the low spark. Spark's coming from low, you know? So it's the low spark. And we're talking about, this is a thing of the high heel boys. The low spark is coming up from underground, right? It's a thing coming up. So that low spark, you know, something's starting off small on the ground and then rising up into the air, getting bigger, you know. The low spark low implies high, spark implies ignition. The low spark implies something getting bigger. So the low spark of high heel boys, an event that kind of triggers some kind of transgressive societal something. You know? All right, maybe the actual like lyrics of this song, something that just washes over me as I listen to it and I never really like pay attention to. For some reason music's like that. I just kind of like tune out the vocals a lot of times. What they're saying doesn't necessarily even make sense to me. It's all about, you know, like feeling the music in the moment. That's why the low spark of high heel boys, it's always drove me crazy, right? Like, what does it mean? Low spark of high heel boys. All right, if you see something that looks like a star and it's shooting up out of the ground and your head is spinning from a loud guitar and you can't escape from the sound, don't worry too much, it'll happen to you. We were children once, playing with toys. Is that what this is? And the thing that you're hearing is only the sound of the low spark of high heel boys. High heel boys. Okay, so that kind of maybe shows us something about the low spark there, right? That if you see something that looks like a star, the spark, and it's shooting up out of the ground, The ground is low, and your head is spinning from a loud guitar, and you just can't escape from the sound. Don't worry too much, it'll happen to you or children runs playing with toys. The imagery here is a guy gets out of like a smoky club at night or whatever, and he's like stumbling home, kind of like head humming from too much music, and then like something happens that catches his eye. He sees something shooting up out of the ground that looks like a star, like a light almost, right? Like a light flashing from the ground. All right, let's get into the actual chorus of the song. This should give us a better idea maybe of what the low spark of High Heel Boys is all about. The percentage you're paying is too high priced while you're living beyond all your means. Sing it with me. And the man in the suit has just bought a new car from the profit he's made off your dreams. Hey, but today you just read that the man was shot dead by a gun that didn't make any noise. But it wasn't the bullet that laid him to rest, was the low spark of High Heel Boys. Hold on, but it wasn't the bullet that laid him to rest. It's the low spark of High Heel Boys. The percentage you're paying is too high priced while you're living beyond all your means. And the man in the suit has just bought a new car from the profit he's made on your dreams. But today you just read that the man was shot dead by a gun that didn't make any noise. But it wasn't the bullet that laid him to rest, was the low spark of High Heel Boys. So what is that? The low spark of High Heel Boys, what is that? What laid this man to rest? I wonder. You know, I think I might actually have a handle. If you had just a minute to breathe and they granted you one final wish, would you ask for something like another chance? Or something similar as this? Don't worry too much, it'll happen to you. As sure as our sorrows are joys. And the thing that disturbs you is only the sound of the low spark of High Heel Boys. High Heel Boys. All right, what perspective are we in here now? If you had a minute to breathe and they granted you one final wish, would you ask for something like another chance? Or something similar as this? Don't worry too much. It'll happen to you. As sure as your sorrows are joys. What does that mean? The low spark of High Heel Boys. All your sorrows are joys. We're getting somewhere. All right, here we are back to the chorus, which kind of drives the point home again. The percentage you're paying is too high priced while you're living beyond all your means. And the man in the suit has just bought a new car from the profit he's made on your dreams. But today you just swear that the man was shot dead by a gun that didn't make any noise. But it wasn't the bullet that laid him to rest, was the low spark of High Heel Boys. High Heel Boys. What is that? The low spark of High Heel Boys. We getting an idea what that is yet? Ooh. Okay, 4 minutes later, after that big long instrumental breakdown, got our final verse, verse 3. If I gave you everything that I own. How does he sing this? Hold on. If I gave you everything that I owned and asked for nothing in return, would you do the same for me as I would for you? Or take me for a ride and strip me of everything, including my pride? But spirit is something that no one destroys. Then we shift things up one final time for the final line. And the sound that I'm hearing is only the sound of the low spark of High Heel Boys. High Heel Boys. All right, let's get to verse 3 here. If I gave you everything that I owned and asked for nothing in return, would you do the same for me as I would for you? This is like a Christ question, right? Like, if I gave you everything that I owned, would you do the same for me? If I gave up all of my earthly possessions for you, would you do that for me? Simple question, powerful question. Or would you take me for a ride and strip me of everything, including my pride? Take me for a ride and strip me of everything, including my pride. But spirit is something that no one destroys. And the sound that I'm hearing is only the sound, the low spark of high heel boys. High heel boys. All right, I think it's pretty obvious now what the low spark of High Heel Boys is. We did our little deep dive into the lyrics. We took a look at it, just broke it down, figured it out. So what is the low spark of High Heel Boys? Why don't you tell me down in the comments? I'll see you around. Happy 2025. Did Steve Winwood predict the Luigi Mangione assassination? That's the real question here. I don't know. Actually pretty terrible at the guitar.